Well, welcome to Tuesday at 7, everybody. It is May 2025, and we're here to battle some Medina traffic here, but also to talk about what's going on here in Medina, because it's pretty exciting. And we're gonna be asking questions with both Evangeline and with Tony, and we encourage you guys to ask. But before we dig into a couple of details, what we want to do is encourage you guys to share this video. We're not going to tell them right now. We're going to tell them in a couple of minutes. But give us a quick overview as to what's going on in this space here recently.
So this is the Recovery Center of Medina County. And attached to the Recovery Center of Medina County is its workforce development component, which is Serenity Restaurant. And the Recovery Center takes folks that are in addiction and gives them a second chance employment. We train them in a culinary program, and that's what this restaurant is, but it's more than just that right here. Next door is the Recovery Center. We'll go take a peek at that in a second. But Evangeline, tell us a little bit about the history of this amazing building we're standing in front of.
So this is Medina's third oldest building. So Medina is very steeped in its history. We're very proud of our history, our beautiful downtown area. We're just a little bit west of our square. And this amazing building was our stagecoach stop and hotel back in the mid-1800s. We've got the train station was right here, the depot, AI Route. We've been here since not long after that. So we're very steeped in the historical section here. This building's really vital for our history of Medina, and to be able to still have it in use and be in such good shape and be an asset of the Recovery Center and Serenity Restaurant. So it's been here since 1858. And it's an amazing restaurant now, so she's still, loving our community in so many ways.
One of the things, and Beth and I have been coming by here. I had the great opportunity to do the Artist's Way with Deb Sherrill years ago upstairs.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Hive was right here.
Yeah.
The Root Candle Company.
The Root Candle Company,
go over and pick up some candles. And so
they're manufacturing. It smells like amazing candles at night.
At all times?
So beautiful in the summer.
Yeah.
Where you'll have the windows open and you can smell what flavors they're making. It's so cool, what scents.
But what I didn't internalize was the railroad has been running through here, and that's why this building probably exists, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The little train depot, the little yellow building, was the original depot for the train where people get on and off, and then this was the hotel and the stagecoach. So a very vital, important building back in 1858.
Yeah.
There's a very good chance the train's going to come through here in a few minutes.
I actually just heard a whistle.
So let's. Is there anything? And I'm sure that we're getting a little bit of background noise, but I think that these mics will cancel a lot of that out. Do you want to point us in any one direction before we step inside this building?
Yeah, let's just take a tour. One of the things we want to point out is that the program shut down towards the end of February because we were looking at a number of different things that we were offering, and we noticed that we needed to restructure the entire program to offer more. And the only way to really do that is to take the entire program out of operation, really look at what we were doing and how we were doing it. During that time of being shut down, we've had no cash flow coming out of our restaurant, which is one of the major funds that support what we do here at the Recovery Center. So as a result of that, our grounds have overgrown because we simply haven't had the people that are normally here. So what we did is we got together with a corporation called Leadership Medina County. It's a nonprofit that does a bunch of training to produce community leaders in our program. I just entered the program and they said, hey, why don't we get together a bunch of our alumni? I went around to all of the different greenhouses in the area, Boyert's, Richardson's, Bowers Farm Stand, and they all donated enormous amounts of different shrubs and flowers for us. And last Saturday we had what we call a beautification project where everybody came out, and if you could have seen this facility, the place prior to that, it looked like nobody had lived here in 3 months, and that was the case. But literally in one day, this community, and this is what I love about the Recovery Center of Medina County, so much of the community is willing to come forward to help in times of need, but they really get the benefit of what the program is all about and how we're helping the folks in recovery. And what we've decided to do is just amazing with our outreach to all the other recovery centers in town. So let's just take a quick tour and show you the what they've actually done. All these ferns here are new.
And I love even seeing the sign that marks this as one of
A
the
historic building.
you said the third oldest building
in all of Medina.
It's actually an amazing condition
Yeah.
inside. There are some, as a building that age, you'll see some waviness in different areas, but structurally, it's fantastic.
I'll hand that to you, Tony.
All right.
Stay out of the rain. Because I melt and like sugar.
Do you need an umbrella?
I have one inside, but
So the little yellow house is actually the recovery center of Medina County. And what we do in there is that's where we bring our students. Generally, they come out of the court system. They've been through a treatment program where they're generally 90 days clean and sober. And it depends on, the program was started by the court back in 2017, and it was started because of the opioid epidemic that was occurring in Medina County. And it's been, since the program has started, we've graduated over 100 students with a 65% success rate. We like to say 80%, but we can only 65%. These are people that have successfully gone to work in our community. They've bought houses. Their children are in our schools. I get a little choked up when I talk about it.
Yeah, and you should, because that's, that is...
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
But the recovery center is where we onboard the students. We have a number of different programs within the recovery center, as well as we host AA meetings, Smart Recovery, Family Anonymous, a bunch of different stuff that goes on there. But we've got some bigger and better things planned for that, which we'll talk about here as we move forward. But these grounds were overgrown, probably this high, and it did look like nobody lived here. But the community came together, cleaned everything up. This is all grass that's going to be growing right now. Don't have anything. And this is the same around the entire property. They literally went around the entire property to clean everything up. And it's that kind of stuff just really gets to me when the community comes together like that. And again, it's hard to say enough nice things about Leadership Medina County, because they're truly an organization with people that just care about the community and want to get involved and help. Just extraordinary organization, and I'm pleased to be part of their upcoming class there. What else?
Yeah, well, let's step inside and
there's that train we were talking
some
about.
incentive to share this interview, right?
Right?
Well, let's head on in. I hear that train.
Yeah, it's a little annoying when you're out here trying to talk to somebody, and it'll come right through right there. It's coming.
I guess all my public speaking, teaching hair classes is paying off. Got that ham thing down.
Welcome.
So as we were walking in, Beth caught the sign Serenity on just over the door frame. Tell us about the name.
So that's a great question, and if you're like me, I have always had a hard time pronouncing the name properly. It's Serenité.
Serenité,
and it's a French take on serenity. Evangeline, do you have a better explanation for?
Well, I know Italian, I know some Spanish, but French is not in my wheelhouse. But I believe it's just a beautiful way to say serenity. It was originally opened as a high-end French restaurant, so they wanted to tie that in. And, serenity being part of the recovery process, this is recovery in action. When our restaurant is open, when our Culinary Institute is open, that's what it's about. It's recovery in action. So Serenité, I think, was a beautiful name to give it. That was unique. And, as long as you don't call it Serenity, I think we're good. So, tomato. But it does have a special meaning, I think, to a lot of people who are in the program as well, that coming here and being in the Culinary Institute really brings that to their recovery process, that they're finally having that that goal, that guidance to get through their recovery with a job, with training, with focus on moving forward.
Yeah, and I know that if folks are part of the Tuesday at 7 community, they know that we get behind causes. And there's more to the story here than just a good cause, right? I mean,
Right.
it's training folks in the culinary arts. If you were with us, I don't know, was it 18 months ago, and we were with Tony, and we had, the artist charcuterie. Like, food is a whole different creative space,
and it's a love language for a lot of people.
Language.
You can nourish others, you can help others feel better through those meals. So being part of the process of making them and creating them and learning those skills, that's cathartic for anyone going through a process like that. It has to be. And then to see the end result of people going, oh my gosh, I'm so full, that was amazing. I've been a client here for years, a customer of the restaurant. I have extreme food allergies, and I always knew I was safe because they made everything from scratch. They knew what every ingredient was. So I always loved being a customer, and then seeing the progress of the first time they came to the table, maybe they were a little nervous, and then the next time they were more confident, and the third time, maybe they were, in charge of other people. So I love to see that progress. You could literally see it in action. But yes, food is definitely a love language. It's something that, having that skill to be able to create, just being able to create something. I've been a hairdresser for almost 40 years, and that creativity is what I love. I love making people feel better by how I make them look. I've never been in a restaurant in the capacity of cooking, but I'm sure you would have that similar feeling of making people feel nourished and loved through creating their food.
And the connection
Exactly.
that people experience by breaking bread together, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's such a great point.
Do you remember the one of the taglines I used at our charcuterie event, where you can communicate in any language with food, and that includes the recovery community?
Yeah.
Love that.
The creative family that we've been blessed to know over the years, all of us are touched by, somebody who is, struggling with addiction, right? Or, are celebrating a year or a week or a decade, of sobriety. And it's not an easy
No, it's not.
trail. It's not an easy trail to blaze. And there's so many folks here that look back and say, if I didn't have something in between to help me bridge from, rock bottom to that next step, to the next step, then, many of our good friends would say, I'd still be around. And so I could see why there's so many people that are getting behind this cause, why sometimes you gotta regroup.
Right.
You just got to close the door, go regroup, and go, okay, how can we launch in a more efficient way or relaunch in a more efficient way? But what we want to encourage folks to do, so thanks for joining us. We are going to be together for maybe another 25, 30 minutes. We're going to take a tour through the building. It's steeped in history. We're going to talk a little bit about the building. We're going to talk about the program. But at the very bottom left-hand side of your screen, there's an arrow button. And you don't have to pay anything to be part of the Tuesday 7 community. All we hope for is that you have the courage to share, and especially share this episode. If when you hit that arrow, Facebook will prompt you as to what to do next. You could share it to an individual. Say, this is something that I need this person to see. You could share it to your friends list, which is what we're hopeful. And you can also share it to a group. But when you share, we know it. And then next week, we're going to be interviewing, if things go, an author. We'll share with you some details about that author. But next week, if you share it, your name will be put in a drawing. And then next week, we're going to draw a name. And if your name is drawn, have you figured out what?
I am. We're going to offer 2 dinners when we reopen, complimentary dinners here at the restaurant. So that will go. We'll write out a gift certificate and put it in there, and it'll be quite a nice value.
Do you have a hopeful reopen date?
Right now, we're shooting for mid-July. A lot of stuff are in play to build out the entire program. And what's so interesting right now is that portion is going to be easy. The hard portion is getting the community behind it, because we're building out a program a little bit different than we had before. So mid-July is when we're shooting for, and hopefully we'll do some soft openings before then to kind of give you. We're also reaching out to the community right now and asking, what do you want? This is a high-end French restaurant. Most of the time, a couple would come in here and couldn't get out of here for under $200. That's okay because we have clientele that can absolutely support that. But we also want to make it more family-friendly in that there's lower price stuff on the menu with keeping with high quality food. I don't know, most of you people in Medina County have eaten here, and you can all attest that some of the finest food and experience that you can have dining here. We want to keep that. And we're interviewing executive chefs right now. We got a couple that are really knocking it out of the park on what they're suggesting and how. And this isn't just an executive chef that would come in and cook. This is a program where he's going to move his family to our community. He wants to embed himself into what we do. And this is one of the things that we're kind of really looking for, someone that really kind of understands the recovery portion, but more importantly, understands what the restaurant was in the way of the type of food that it produced and the clientele, and be able to meet those needs as well as meeting the needs. We're going to have hot dogs on the menu because right now there's really no place in town that you can get yourself a hot dog. Now, that doesn't mean that's going to be one of our main, but we want the kids to be able to have a hot dog. So it's really kind of neat seeing we're orchestrating all of this, but we're not the designers of what they're actually going to make. And it's really kind of neat to see the executive chef that have stepped forward. I'm part of the American Culinary Federation. This organization has been part of the American Culinary Federation for years. And it's really neat to see how they're stepping forward to offer suggestions, guest chefs, all kinds of different opportunities as we move forward to make the program take it up to that next level.
We're going to take a quick detour, if you wouldn't mind. And the detour might be for a minute or two. And then we're going to maybe get on the move, right? We're going to kind of see what the building looks like. You guys can point us in, certain areas that are of importance, might be of interest. The history of the building as well. And
we've heard rumors of hauntings. We've not seen anything, but we've heard them. So you never know.
I've actually heard the hauntings. Because I've pretty much made this my office for the last 3 months. So you hear a lot of things. Nah, it's just an old building, so it'll move around. But I think it's probably done moving and settling.
1858.
I'll tell you what, everything that, and you guys know, we did a spiritual cleansing of our 1880 home when we took that down, and you can definitely feel a vibe in here, but it's a good vibe.
It's a good vibe.
Not a bad
vibe. It really is. Yeah. If there is one, it's good.
It is a good vibe. Let's take a detour over here. So many weeks ago. Grab this here from many weeks ago, we were able to join. Actually, we're sitting in a historical home not too far from here at Doc Loomis, and he had started the Western Reserve Instrument Rescue and Adoption, and we challenged the Tuesday 7 community to donate instruments. And Doc, let us know if this is accurate, but I think we got 23 or 24 instruments. And there's still people that are, Victor and Doc are dropping off, I think, some drums here this week. But what we were hoping to do was to collect 15 instruments. And I think that we were in the mid-20s already. But in doing so, we had said anybody who donated an instrument, we were going to do a custom portrait. I call it mugging, and it's my style. I don't know my style is everybody's taste. But essentially, we're going to grab some photos, and we're going to create a custom portrait on a mug. And if your name is drawn, we're going to grab some photos, and we're going to give you a mug shot. You'll be mugged in Cleveland. But if you donated an instrument, then your name is in here. As a matter of fact, Beth, these are the folks that donated instruments. At least one, if not more. Victor Milanagro, Steffi, Mags, Julie, Mindy Kreitch, Doris Beal, Joel Montgomery, Kelly Milliron, Mark and Mindy Hayes, Linda Musacchio, I'm hoping I pronounced that right, Don Erg, Chris Byers Carpenter, David, is that Harrison? Yep, I can't even read my writing. Robin, Stephen Cormus, and Louise Miller. And we know that these instruments came out of attics They came from loved ones, maybe they're instruments that were old, but the instruments that we collected was thousands of dollars, and they'll be going to new musicians. But if your name is, if you donate an instrument, actually, I'm going to have Tony. Good. Go ahead and draw the winner for the custom for getting mugged in Cleveland. Mags.
How about that?
Mags.
That will be a beautiful mug.
Thank you. I think
know Mags.
she donated, I think, 2 professional ukuleles. And so, Mags, thank you so much for donating. Thank you, everybody, for your donations. And but with that, I'm going to hand this mic back over to Tony. But thank you, Doc, and the Western Reserve Instrument Rescue and Adoption. But we're going to get right back and get back into the meat of this location and this cause. But give us a slight tour, and as we kind of go through
for a little walk.
Yeah.
So we have roughly a 90-seat restaurant. And if you look at how many, they call it covers, how many dinners they serve in a night, generally it's around 120 covers. It gives and take depending on what night it is. But if we come through here, we have this amazing bar that was not part of the original, was built at some point. The previous, I believe, was Medina Steakhouse, and he actually drove through the parking lot last week and said, hey, I think there's a lawnmower down in the basement of because he owned that house as well. And he says, you guys can use that. It's we knew it was down there, but it's one of those real lawnmowers that has the rotary thing. I wasn't going to do that, so we got somebody that had a push mower. But it's we have a full kitchen right behind us, and it's a commercial kitchen. We generally keep the exhaust fans going 24/7, and that kind of keeps. Although we have people coming in and out of the building on a regular basis, it kind of keeps the air fresh inside here. Over on this wing, we have another entire dining section. We also have mobile carts that we do like the flambés. We come around to the different table. I talk about it like I know what I'm talking about. I don't. I'm involved in the culinary world from a low-volume pork producer, the charcuterie world. But it's really neat when you see these wheeled up to your cart if you order like Bananas Foster's or something like that when they come up and they cook that for you.
You ever had that here? I don't think so. Charcuterie.
So recently, and you'll notice a number of older tables, you'll notice a number of newer tables. Recently, Westfield Insurance donated a number of components when they're rebuilding their country club. And it was so nice of them to donate to us chairs and tables and everything else rather than try to sell it to the open market. And we have a bunch more of that stuff that we have in storage that we're also trying to sell. So I know Saturday we're going to have a storage unit sale that I'll post that has, again, chairs, tables, very much like this. That's good equipment, and it needs to go to somebody who can use it, not inside a storage unit. Upstairs, and I'm trying to think of the easiest way to get up there, but probably the main stairs. You want to run up there real quick?
Yeah, let's start there. Evangeline,
Yes.
is there? Do you have any idea about like what this space was
Well,
back in the day?
originally I would assume that there was, a clerk's desk, an office, and check-in. There probably was some type of a bar. I mean, the 1850s, kind of Wild West-ish. I'm sure they were slinging some kind of whiskeys and things to, I don't know about cowboys, but what people coming off the train, probably some food served. I would have to assume it was the only hotel, and upstairs was rooms where people could rent out and stay. So my husband worked here in the 80s when it was Dale's Liberty Inn as a dishwasher. We were young and in love, and I could see him washing dishes in the window, and he said he helped clean out the upstairs. There was a long hallway with room after room after room with just a bed and a nightstand inside, and then a restroom at the very end. So it's interesting to hear his, history with the building as well. I think almost everyone has some type of experience who had been here or worked here or something in Medina or dined here. But I believe back then that there would have been some type of at least. But I'm not really steeped in that part of the history.
Yeah.
So I might have to start getting my little nerd senses out for that because I'm a history nerd. I love research, so I might have to get in on that a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask a question. The topic, we dripped on it even before we pressed the live button, and that is, most restaurants serve alcohol, right? Mm-hmm. A bar is part of everyday life. But I would imagine that there's a bunch of folks out here that are like, okay, so we have some recovering folks that are surrounded by alcohol, maybe serving it, right? Tell us about that.
It is a very legitimate concern. We're a believer of cognitive behavior development, where our care workers work with the students in the presence of alcohol that helps them deal with the triggers that they might have. Now, we're also instituting an entirely new method of maintaining this, where everything gets locked, like a hotel bar. When the bar is not operating, everything gets locked up, everything gets put away. There's no visible sign of any alcohol anywhere out. We're going to that, as well as having swing doors with access keys, where only bar managers that are controlling that can have access to behind the bar. One of the things that we're acutely aware of is if someone's in here and they're in recovery, if they get triggered, and if for whatever reason, we don't want to be able to make it accessible to them. So having that as a responsibility on our end is something we're absolutely willing to take on. And these are some of the improvements that we're looking at making within the entire program. But yeah, it is certainly a concern. But at the same time, today you walk out of your house, you know, Chipotle has alcohol in it. Folks in recovery, are we trying to tell them they shouldn't go out to eat anywhere? Because almost anywhere you go out to eat, there's alcohol. They're learning how to deal with that. And this is why one of our biggest initiatives is pairing up with the other recovery programs in our community, which are robust. And they're well established, and they do an outstanding job. Rather than us try to recreate the entire wheel, we're going to take cues from them. We're going to partner with them on a number of different programs. We currently have a recovery house next door that is really used for nothing more than onboarding some of our students and some classes that we have. We can do all of that upstairs. I mean, quite frankly, we have an amazing upstairs. It's a training room, it's a training kitchen, but more importantly, getting them involved in the recovery community that currently exists within Medina County is so much more beneficial to them, where we can strictly concentrate on the workforce development. And then we can take that beautiful home, which is a 2 to 3 bedroom home, and turn it into housing for folks in recovery. What's amazing about this little row right here in Medina is across the street we have Kathy's house. That is, I believe, owned and operated by Hope Recovery Community, which is this amazing, robust community. They have touched 10,000 people in the course of a year. They call them touches. We call our students, they call theirs guests. We're learning a great deal about the recovery community. I have almost no background in that area, but I have a lot of passion. I have a lot of passion to help. So it's really kind of interesting as I explore some of the other recovery programs, what they're offering, and then I look at our program, and we're taking ours a step further in the world of workforce development. I've paired up with Medina County Career Center in their adult education program, because after they go through our well-structured culinary institute, they have some structure, they have some discipline, they're learning some life skills. They spend a good part of their day in some of the other recovery programs in town, and then they can go into the adult education program for some career certification. We're looking at a number of different other trades. Today, there's so many corporations around Medina that are absolutely willing to take our students. Sometimes our students have criminal records, so there's a special profile. But if they have trade certification, if they've got a culinary training, we're looking at welding, we're looking at construction, but we also want to go a step further. In a restaurant, you need advertising, you need finance, you need bookkeeping. Depending on the individual that we're dealing with and what their desires are, what their background is, we can offer them so much more than we've been offering them. And opening up dialogue with the Career Center, and they're fully on board with creating a program that would meet our needs. And to do this, to make this functional, we have to go to corporate America, because all that costs money. And corporate America has just been amazing about the response. They're saying, put together what the numbers are. If this means that you can literally graduate folks with trade degrees or culinary certifications, and they can come to work in our community, into our corporations, we absolutely support that. And it's been really, to me, just amazing the outpouring of folks in the corporations that have a desire to help. Now, part of it's greedy because they know they're going to get employees, so the employees are going to be fairly
Those are
well
hard
trained.
to find these days. Employees are very hard to find.
And they are hard, right? But also, to get there costs a lot of money. And these corporations are willing to step up and help us in that end.
But we still need community donations. I mean, right now, the restaurant is not open.
Right.
And our hope is to reopen. So anything, $5, $10, anything you can send our way, you can mail it to our address here at the Recovery Center, or we have Give Butter that's now activated again. We have a little QR code. We could always add that to our post. We can put that down in the comments. But, if anybody's willing to help with our kind of crusade here that we're doing, we really, the culinary program, the Institute is vital to our community, but it's also really what we're going to be focusing on is bringing that work part of the recovery here, AKA the restaurant being open and alive again.
And if we're recognizing, right, other partners, I'm using that term. Maybe that's, but I think what folks share is a heart for those who are struggling with addiction or are in recovery. 10 years, sober, or
they don't have to be just starting out.
Yeah,
if they're still in recovery, there's all kinds of wonderful assets for them because it's an ongoing thing. It's not a one and done and see you later. So that's what we've realized. And even as Tony and I don't have a background in the recovery part of things, we're really focusing on the Culinary Institute. That's why we're trying to partner. Instead of, like you said, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. Yeah. There's some great programs out there. So let's work together a little bit better because it has to be all about the student. It has to be all about the person in recovery and everything else surrounding it. But
some of our partners are going to really surprise you. We're in Medina County. We have an amazing park district, Medina County Park District. We've met with them. They have a program with Hope Recovery, which is one of our largest recovery communities in Medina, where they donated a farm, and the Hope community farms it. I think they can house right now between 12 and 20 people within that community. The first year they did it, they produced 1,000 pounds of vegetables that they donated to Feeding Medina County. The second year, 4,000 pounds. We're looking to join forces with a number of the different recovery communities, but specifically one where we could use their vegetables here. And how does the park system get involved? The park has a whole bunch of land, and the park has difficulty sometimes maintaining that land. But what if we grazed cattle on that land to help keep the brush down, and that cattle could be used here? So now that opens the door to, in addition to our culinary program, which we'll talk a little bit about, it opens the door to possible butchering, a possible animal husbandry. The farm currently also produces a number of different proteins, rabbits and goats and stuff like that. So it's really kind of neat to watch how that whole thing is growing. And previous to now, we had not had a relationship with any of those. And I think that this restructuring and looking into our community, like what can we really offer? How can we partner with the programs that are already in place? Makes so much more sense. I'm really excited about the future of what we can do here. Even on a healthcare note, right next door to us is a workout facility, kind of famous for our area. Wasn't earlier today. The young man that owns it came over to me and said, "Hey, I'd like to get some of your students when you're running back up again into our program." He's like, "We'd offer you like a special rate, but we could teach them about exercise. We could teach." And he says, "The reason I say this is a number of our patrons are in recovery, and they look at exercise as a means of discipline to help them maintain that." And I said, we're not looking for any deals, like special deals. We want to finance the program well enough that we can offer that. Students that want to be in the exercise program right next door, why not? That's a great idea.
CrossFit literally right here across our parking lot. So they do all kinds of CrossFit. They're flipping tires out in the parking lot.
We're former CrossFit folks just a year ago, and that's discipline.
It is,
and I think an important component, right? Probably for folks who are like, I need to change.
Yeah, well,
that
it's a
way.
great outlet,
Yeah.
the physicality, the dopamine, and all the things that happen, with workouts like that. So I think that would be a fabulous. And, he just talks to people and meets everybody. And he's been really working hard, making sure everybody in the community knows what we're doing.
Definitely been a divine intervention because I get up in the morning and I say, these are the things I need to get done by the end of the day to help program into the next thing. And by the end of the day, those doors are opened up. But and another shout out is Medina County Economic Development. I mean, I've met with everybody.
Yes,
Medina
everybody.
County Economic Development Corporation has been really instrumental in helping us look at the best way to position ourselves that would offer great benefit for the student as far as their workforce development. We've met with the mayor, we've met with commissioners, we met with the city development committee. We've been busy, but at the entire time we've been busy, it's had one focus. What can we do to make the program more robust than it was before, to bring more tools to the folks in recovery to make it a more successful? One of the initiatives we're going to also do is keep in contact with all of our graduates, our alumni. And that's, it's not a necessarily requirement, but I want to make it a requirement. I want to make the alumni continue to come back. You're never healed, so to speak. It's always an ongoing process. And the more the alumni can come back into the picture and work with us on a regular basis, maybe be guest culinary trainers. We have a lot of different things. It's like brainstorming, just going off and off and off. But we start right here with you, the people, our community. And Evangeline was right. We will need to keep the lights on. We're looking for a soft opening in mid-July, but until then, we have some bills to pay, and we're looking for the community to help us out to that end. But let's take a quick tour upstairs.
Yeah. And as we're walking, we can walk in and talk. In the very bottom left-hand side of your screen is a share button.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, if you hit that share button, we're going to do a drawing next week. And if your name is drawn, again, you get into the drawing, sharing, and you get an opportunity to bring a loved one and have a dinner for two.
This right here is one of my favorite views in this restaurant, and I have served a number of meals up there. We always do big fundraisers, and I'm the one that holds the door open for all the chefs that come running down. And we've had some big name chefs.
I can go in the ladies' room. I want to make sure.
But these are not easy stairs to navigate.
Oh, you're so funny. I had to go. And they were talking like, oh my God, I need to.
And when I say easy to navigate, think about carrying 2 plates on either arm going down the stairs, not watching where you're going. So this is our upstairs. This is truly where we will do the culinary training. One of the things we're going to do different this time around is prior, our old operating model, the executive chef was the trainer, the manager, and everything. And it was a real struggle for him to keep up with all of the different things. And they offered some amazing programs in here. You mentioned Deb Sherrill earlier, who's been a great patron of the program for a very long time. But you guys did art and stuff up in this area?
Yeah, we
Right.
did The Artist Way, which was we went through a book. It was an artist, a creative class.
Yep.
And it was a way to build community with other artists. And we did that right on these tables. I think we had 3 or 4 tables here.
So this area is going to be used for a lot of different things, but primarily used as a training area. The model we're going to do different is our executive chef's going to run a restaurant just like he runs any restaurant, and he's going to have a tight ship with his own people. We're going. I pushed the button. I don't know what that meant.
Oh, you're good.
Still good?
Yeah, you're so good.
What we're going to do now is have a dedicated culinary trainer for our students, so that the students can learn in a relaxed atmosphere up here how to do all the different culinary skills. And as they feel comfortable, they can work their way down into the busy kitchen as well as the front of the house. And that's really kind of neat because it takes the emphasis off of learning as fast as you can and getting out there. I don't, quite frankly, and they've had a successful program for many, many years. I don't know how they were able to do that so successfully. One of the nice things about our kitchen is if one of our students has an issue that day, the kitchen stops and we take care of that issue. We help them, whatever that issue may be. And, there's not many days where they don't. So sometimes food takes a little bit longer to get out to the tables than at a traditional restaurant. But people recognize that here. One of the neat things about eating here is, you're being served by the students in our program. You're getting to watch recovery in action. And it's really cool. But we have our own dedicated kitchen up here.
And you're the benefactor of a great meal.
Yes. So here's an example of what our upstairs kitchen looks like. Our downstairs kitchen is about twice this size, but it's really well outfitted. And this is new to the building. When I say new to the building, they didn't have this before Serenity was here that I'm aware of. And it's so interesting. So many of our friends that we've talked to is like, yeah, I worked there back in the 80s. I worked there in the 90s. And this is the only kitchen that I've actually worked out of, preparing different stuff, mainly the charcuterie world. But we're well outfitted. The bottom kitchen is well outfitted. And like I tell everybody, we're turnkey. I mean, we're ready to get back in, but we don't want to do it until we're fully, the entire plan of anyone can run a kitchen. I mean, truly, restaurants start and stop all the time. We want to be successful at it. So we want to get the right people in place. We have the time to do that. And the process of interviewing and finding the right people with the right mindset that are willing to work in this type of atmosphere, it's a special person. It takes that special heart. And we think we have found those individuals. So it's really kind of neat because, like I said, every day I get up and I ask for these things, and all of a sudden, boom, these things are put in front of me by the end of the day. And then I take this information, I put it in front of the board, and I'm like, what do you think? And the board's like, well, what do you mean? What do you think? That's like perfect. Let's go with that.
This kitchen here, you said, is about half the size of the kitchen downstairs.
Yep.
Is this more of a training kitchen, or are they preparing food for guests?
So it depends. Traditionally, this has been used for special events where we can prepare 80 servings at one time. We set up all the tables down there, and all of the guest chefs come in. We prepare all the food, each course separately, and then they run them down the stairs, and there's another set of stairs over there, which is a horrendous set of stairs, but it works. But we're going to mainly concentrate moving forward as this being the training kitchen. Now, on busy service nights, we can utilize this for all kinds of things. Yeah. But what's nice is that we have two kitchens, so we can even have training going on at the same time that the kitchen downstairs is running hot and heavy. Yeah. And I don't know if you've ever been in a commercial kitchen. They move. Sometimes they're not very patient. Sometimes it's I won't say a violent atmosphere, but it's a hustle and bustle. It's called the dance that they do back there. And we want to produce a well-oiled machine that has a nice dance, but also has the room and flexibility to incorporate the students into the program in a way that they feel like part of the team. Even though they're only going to be in the program for 6 months, here, they're going to be in our program for over a year, because after our program, we want to be able to see if they want to get into some type of certification, trade certifications, including the culinary. And this is, again, where the American Culinary Federation, they have an entire training curriculum where these students can earn a culinary certification. And that means a lot on your resume when you're going to work at a restaurant or a food corporation. The other thing I'd be remiss if I didn't point out are companies like Sandwich Craft Foods here in Medina. They have a very special program within their corporation they've hired a number of our graduates over the years. They've got a special division within their HR that offers a number of different resources, transportation sometimes, housing sometimes. Some of these folks, like I said, have criminal records and they can't get loans, but companies like Sandwich have a special profile program that allows them, they give them a loan, they give them a responsibility on how to pay that back, a low interest loan. It's really kind of neat. We're looking to pair and partner with other corporations just like that. You could have your corporate name on our upstairs kitchen or on our upstairs training center or on the bar downstairs or on any of the booths downstairs.
Before we came upstairs, you had mentioned, and I don't remember what it was, 120
Covers?
covers, right?
Covers.
120 covers are let's call them created,
Right.
right? In a typical night,
Mhm.
120, experiences, but arts, right? Because this isn't just about throwing something on a plate, right? And
Right.
running it down.
Right.
This is about creating,
Yeah.
something different, right?
So one of the amazing things about the previous executive chef, Todd Whitman, he created such beauty in his meals that it was so inviting. When you sit down to eat something, the first thing you do is see it with your eyes. So you taste it first with your eyes, then you smell it, and you taste it first with your smell, and then you get to taste it. And he was a master at that. Fortunately, Todd Whitman is well on board with what we're doing in the program and has agreed to be PR for us. We're going to have a Todd Whitman Day type of thing. And there's a number of previous employees that were here that want to help us in this journey because they truly built it in. And they're our biggest success story. He's an executive chef today at a very nice high-end Italian restaurant in Berea. So it's really kind of neat. And we want to showcase the success stories. We want to showcase the people that are doing really, really well in their lives as a result of going through this program.
It almost feels like 120 pieces of artwork
Yeah.
being created each evening.
Yeah.
Artwork that can be seen,
Yep.
Smelled,
Right.
tasted, and then that can be used to connect with others, and that's something that
Yep.
is inviting, I think, and
It is.
the vision of that is probably is a great vision to have, but to combine it with a cause,
Oh yeah.
right? This isn't just about
Right.
serving meals. This is about raising a community of folks that are struggling with addiction, and you're building that bridge to go on, with their lives.
Mhm.
And that's worthy.
Mhm.
There is, I know that Evangeline was talking about a hallway here. This is where, is it appropriate for me to, I don't have no idea where I'm walking here.
Yeah, you're doing good. So I'm not
Oh.
sure where she was talking, but this is a hallway up to our attic
I think that's what she was
over here.
Oh, jeez.
This-
I was like reflected in there.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, folks. I looked like the ghost from the attic there.
Come on
I
through
just
here.
saw this
Yeah,
pale,
come on through.
creepy reflection in the window.
And but this is a building. If you guys weren't with us at the very beginning, 1858, and so
1858. Yep. And that door freaks me out sometimes when I'll go through it and I'll be here late at nighttime. One of the things that's interesting for me is I don't mind being here late at nighttime. It's I feel like I'm part of the community that's here.
But the history of this building is, I just like to look it up,
Yep.
frankly. And,
The attic's in great condition up there. It's
Can we go take a look?
Absolutely.
all right, let's look up there. If there's a big
Light
jump
switch
scare,
right
wiring
here.
first.
Oh, there we go. It's out of me.
Third oldest building in Medina. Thanks for.
Yeah, it's really incredible, and they've refortified it. We had a new roof put on last year, and we still have some more roofing work to do. So there's being in one of the historic parts of Medina. I think it's important to maintain those historic qualities and architecture. And if you've noticed, the new hotel that we're building right now also mimics that new architecture in town. But I think it's important that as we continue to make repairs to this building, particularly the roof, that we go back to what the original architecture was to maintain that historic look in the area.
Beth has a phone in one hand. She has a tripod in the other hand, and she's climbing up and down the steps.
So Tony's going to catch me if I fall. He may not know when it's happening, but
And this is our administrative as well as classroom area right here. Again, we're in the middle of cleaning up and restructuring. We got a lot more ways to do that, but every student has their own locker with their own lock, and they're given, when they come in, they're outfitted with uniforms, shoes, generally a computer. And traditionally, the computer stayed here when they left. I want the computer to go with them because when they leave, they still have to have contact in everything. They still have to be able to work in all the programs that they work with. So I'm pairing up with corporations that will provide that computer as well as maintain the technology in it. The computers that we have, and you can see we have stacks of them sometimes laying around, are 6, 7, 8 years old, and it's really not usable today. I don't know. I think Windows 10's even going away, and everybody's got to go to Windows 11 pretty soon. But we're looking at those kind of technologies that really offer them something. Phones are another thing that everyone needs a phone today, right? But in most of these cases, they don't make enough money to truly support that, even though they all seem to have. We want to be able to offer them something in that regard that keeps them connected in everyday life, partially as a support system, but also as a networking tool that they can use day in, day out.
Is that
That's a full balcony out there.
Full balcony out there?
Yes, it is.
Every single time I ride by this building, I have to glance over because it's beautiful.
So we do need to do some work out there as far as the roof portion of that balcony section, but I foresee at some point being able to have tables out there like they did it years ago. Right now, in the current condition that it's in, we wouldn't put tables or people out there. It's wear that surface down. There has to be a wearable surface, and we don't have one on there right now. Yeah. But yeah, pretty amazing being out there and watching the cars go by.
What have we missed in this interview? And you want to head back downstairs?
Let's head back downstairs.
I don't know if there's any other place that those are giant cans of baking goods.
One of the other things that the organization has not had a great support, and it's nobody's fault it's nobody's fault other than our organizations. We haven't reached out, but we don't have a good area to keep lawn tools. We don't have a good area to keep snowplow equipment or anything like that. So we have to rely on other organizations. We hire basically all of that out. Whereas we've got enough space, we have enough property out there, and I have recently found that there are many organizations that, because we're a workforce development, they'll build the buildings for us. They'll build the sheds for us. People will donate the equipment that we need out there. And that's something I find just amazing, how the community comes forward. I don't ask for it. They're suggesting it. They're like, hey, we can put a building out there for you to keep all that stuff in so it doesn't have to sit out like that. I think that's pretty cool. So there's another one of those areas that we're looking at.
I had asked Tony a question as we were coming down the steps, and that question was, I'm sure that we haven't asked an important question, or there's some information out there that even if we think about it later, right, we can just kind of put it in the comments.
Right.
We want certainly for the folks in the audience, share away. Again, if you share, we know it, and then your name will be put in a drawing. And next week we'll draw a name, and if your name is drawn, it'll be dinner for two at this restaurant, probably this summer, right?
Yes,
when things launch up. But I'm sure there's a number of resources that we want to tag here to the interview as well. But what have we not asked? We haven't touched on yet.
For me, I want to ask the community, what do you want to see in a recovery program? I mean, are we missing things? We're partnering with as many organizations as we know. Evangeline and I have literally here's the reason I was able to do that. I had knee replacement surgery in February, and although I work for corporate America full time, they made me take 3 months off, and I was kind of bored, and I'm like, hey, let me get involved in this project. And I think, again, things happen for a reason, a divine intervention. But it really allowed us to focus on a number of different things. But I asked the community, what do you want to see in a recovery program? What are we missing? What are other recovery programs missing? Now, if we're talking about Hope Recovery, they're not missing anything because they have an amazing program. I've toured it. I've seen the people that are in it. I've seen the people that run it, and truly impressed. But what would you, if you could build a program yourself from the ground up, what would you want to see in it? So give us your suggestion, give us your comments on how that would look to you.
And I'm sure that even if there was somebody who says, I've got about a paragraph, Facebook has Messenger. And so you can put that paragraph, and we have the folks that are here, both Evangeline and Tony. You put it in.
I want to note that I was working full time. Mr. Knee replacement here, running my salon and day spa and wrangling 27 hairdressers and doing clients, but still, just wanted to throw that out there.
We are here for cause, but I think that that hair is a whole different level of artwork. So at least give us a call out to your salon, and then we'll make a link there too, because we might go.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I've owned Salon Evangeline, like my first name, Evangeline, in Medina, just east of Medina Hospital for over 24 years. And I've been in the industry for 38. So started when I was 5. But I'm very passionate about that. And I feel beauty is a way to help people. But our culinary program is something, even though I'm not from the restaurant world, I'm not from the recovery world, and still passionate about those things. Obviously, I like food, and I have a passion for helping others. So I have a training program at my salon. Now we have state board regulations that we have to work within, but I take young hairdressers and train them. So I love the idea of the training program and the Culinary Institute here. Yeah. That's a vital. I see the change in my kids when they come out of school, can barely hold their combs and scissors at the same time, into 6-figure hairdressers. That's my passion. So that's what I bring to the table is my 24 years of business experience, tight ship, accountability, and then really wanting to see the Culinary Institute flourish and thrive and help people in recovery. So that's my little.
Our email, if you want to send us any emails, you want to ask us any questions, is office@serenityrestaurant.com. Now, again, I say Serenity because I'm not adept at saying Serenity, but it's serenityrestaurant.com, office@serenityrestaurant.com. We have a Facebook page, Serenity, which I've tagged in this. So, and we'll also post our QR code where you can donate to our cause. It's Give Butter. They take a small percentage, but it's one of the small percentages of anywhere in the fundraising QR code industry.
And our address is 538 West Liberty Street, Medina, Ohio, 44256 if you'd like to drop us an old school check by snail mail. We'll take that too.
And we'll put this information in the comments here as well. So people, they don't have to write it down.
Yeah.
You just scroll down the comments and you're going to see the link, or you're going to see the information in, so you can cut and paste it. Beth, I know that you've been managing comments, 2 phones, anything that has come from your side, or any questions that you have or came from the community that's watching live.
Actually, you guys just addressed it. Most of the comments were, how can we contact you? How can we help? How do we donate money? So you put it all in there. It's all been positive. Everyone's excited about what this is going to do for the community, and seeing this just come back to life stronger and bigger than ever, and really just embracing everything that's going to happen with all the different businesses and solutions. So it's a lot of love going on.
Love it.
Yeah, and we also have to give a shout out to the court system, because they're the ones that started the program. They still fund a certain portion of the program, and it's amazing that we have a judicial system and a court system that wants to support that, where they were putting people, they'd send them through treatment, right? But then they had no tracking of them after the treatment. This gives them an opportunity to be in a program where they can learn a trade, get back out into the workforce.
We appreciate you guys spending an hour-ish with us.
We didn't have anything to talk about.
we appreciate Tony and Evangeline for you to share your passion. You guys have put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this project, and that's that's a heartfelt
Thank you for sharing
passion.
With us. I asked to join the group. I hope you accept me.
Yep, as a matter of fact, if somebody is interested, Tuesday at 7, they're linked here. It's a creative community.
Love
We
that.
touch
I
everything,
love that.
more
So
than
cool.
just the culinary
Oh,
arts, and more than
absolutely.
just good causes. Sometimes we're going this way, we're going that way, and if you're an author, if you're a poet, if you're a fine artist, if you're like to just watch, if you're into film, if you're into poetry, if you're into glass blowing,
Creative people.
creative people.
Yeah,
We-
they're pretty cool people. Yeah, I find they're my favorites always.
Yeah, yeah. We appreciate you guys joining us. We'll see you next week.